All right, welcome back, everybody. As part 3 of the online meeting survival guide, we're talking about 4 strategies to host more effective online meetings. Let's jump into it. So this is very important. Start considering the strategies for how to host productive online meetings. Even if you have a great collaboration team, project, you still are probably going to suffer from some unproductive meetings, and let's talk about how we can make them a lot more productive. So meetings always have a set goal and objectives to keep the meeting on target. But keeping an online meeting on track is sometimes more challenging than an in-person meeting because 93% of communication is nonverbal. So it's really important to turn on video when you are on an online meeting to increase the effectiveness. While many people do feel uncomfortable on camera, confronting this fear will be key to successful online communications. Now, the first strategy for hosting productive meetings, obviously, is being prepared. And a meeting that is prepared is perhaps the most powerful strategy because then we can have an agenda, we can be prepared and be confident in our ability to communicate with the online meeting tools that we have. And as a meeting host, you can show all the meeting attendees that you're present, and you are paying attention simply by turning on your video camera and show that you're not doing something else. You're not multitasking. Listening is going to become a very important part of this. So being prepared allows you to be confident and show that you are attentive by turning on your camera. Now, the concept of presence is used throughout almost every online communication tool because it brings remote teams together. And many people do feel uncomfortable on camera, yet overcoming this fear as a leader allows you to lead by example. So why is the use of video so important for hosting productive online meetings? Well, I mentioned that 93% of all communications is nonverbal. So naturally, promoting the use of video cameras during your meeting will increase your communication effectiveness and participant engagement. So that is what we're trying to do. Now, online meetings are going to become more commonplace and natural as the future progresses, as culture moves forward. So we're all going to have to confront and overcome any fears that you may have using online communication tools in general as a first step toward hosting online meetings. As culture shifts, online meetings will become more commonplace and natural for everyday communications. But as a meeting host, you do need to be aware of the fact that many people may be kind of transitioning into their comfort zone of using online meeting tools. Now, one thing you can do, and you can promote this to folks who are just getting started with online collaborations, is to do a test meeting. You can do a test meeting as a great way for managers to encourage employees to gain familiarity and comfort with online meeting platforms. I think a test meeting would be a great first kickoff meeting for a new collaboration project. Let's just test the AV, make sure it's working. That way your agenda doesn't get derailed by someone who doesn't know what they're doing or unfamiliar with the technology. Now, you can also make things a little bit more fun, and there's video backgrounds and images. Zoom has backgrounds. Everyone has these cool backgrounds now that hides their home or the space behind them. There's also features like Touch Up My Appearance, which just make people feel more comfortable on camera. Now, a simple tip for looking more professional on camera is to record a quick video of yourself on your preferred meeting platform and just watch it back. See how you look. What did you think? Maybe do you want to add a little more lighting? Maybe do you want to reposition your camera? Maybe you need to move your microphone a little bit. Now, an important step 2 here, this is our second tip, is to create a consistent meeting. A regularly scheduled meetings, they evolve over time, and each meeting member can adapt and find their unique role within the meeting. So if you have a regular collaboration project, consider having meetings every Monday, for example. That way, everyone kind of expects it. Now, Mondays might not be the best day. Maybe you want to do Tuesday, Wednesday, but people can prepare for it. They always see it on the calendar. You can do a recurring meeting, and everyone can kind of adapt and evolve into their purpose and their role in the meeting. Now, number 3 tip is to create and circulate a meeting agenda and notes. If someone's getting off track from an established agenda, which happens all the time, the meeting host or co-host can refer back to the meeting agenda. It's very commonplace for groups to table or sideline a conversation on an issue that veers too far from the intended goal. So if you have a good meeting agenda, people can come prepared. You should definitely have somebody updating or taking notes so that they can be saved on a shared drive and stored for your collaboration project to move forward. And then you want to share those meeting notes and make sure everyone gets the most out of the intended meeting goal. Now, it's helpful to share those meeting notes on an organized folder drive, and we're going to look at how you can organize a drive in this course so that everyone has access to it. And the most productive meetings have an agenda that's distributed in advance and frequently use a shared document for recording those notes and posting those notes even in a collaboration channel like Slack or Discord or Microsoft Teams, so all members of the meeting are part of it in a great way, can keep projects moving forward. Now, probably the most important tip, and we're going to dig into this quite a bit because you really need to understand this, is how to listen. There's a statistic in the book, I don't think it's in this PowerPoint presentation, that something like 90% of the time, oh, here it is. A study in Psychology Today say only 10% of people are actively listening during most conversations. So the other 90% are just thinking about what they're going to say next. And if you're not being a good listener, it's very difficult to host a productive meeting. So hosts need to know when they're doing too much talking, and they need to remember to pause, take a breath, and actively listen. It can be difficult for many of us to transition from the speaking mode to the listening mode. So it's important for all meeting attendees to think about that. And we talked about that 10% of people actively listening. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is listen. So with that being said, luckily, there are some tools that we can do to really frame of reference here listening. So listening to and engaging with other meeting participants in a respectful and thoughtful manner is obviously important. Close listening can even enable you to crowdsource new ideas. There's a reason why these people were invited to the meeting. Hear what they have to say, and remember that everyone has a unique aspect and perspective. Now, in the next video, we're going to talk about equity of voice, equilibrium of voice, and how to make sure that everyone is getting a unique and individual time to really feel like they're heard. And it's so important with listening. But that'll be the next chapter. Let me leave you with this. If you're trying to make your meetings a little bit more exciting, maybe you're trying to make them a little bit more productive, think about hosting a Pika Kucha presentation. And what this is Japanese has become a worldwide phenomenon. You have 20 images, 20 slides, 20 seconds each. It basically makes a 7-minute presentation, but it automatically forces people to kind of think in terms of how quickly the presentation is going to be. We're all so sick of death by PowerPoint. How long is he going to be talking about this slide? How long is each slide going to take? With Pika Kuchu, you actually know exactly how long each presentation slide is going to be, and it makes it really productive. So take a look at that. In our next one, we're going to be talking a little bit more about listening, equity of voice, and more. Let's get into it.